Hello, fellow FPL managers, and Merry Christmas. I was going to start off with ho, 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 no, because of saying Christmas is cancelled in the title. And that is basically because I had, as you can see, another awful FPL game week. So coming up in today's video, we'll just have a quick review of game week 18. Quick turnaround for game week 19, of course, is on Boxing Day. So a quick run through. I actually went into the Sunday games. I'd already done my transfers, which I'll show you after this quick review of Game Week 18. So unfortunately, I went into Sunday with a captaincy. I was above average after Saturday. You know, a couple of clean sheets and some points on the board, especially in defense. You see Lundstrom and Pope. And I was feeling pretty hopeful going into the game against Chelsea, where I had Abraham, I had Son, I had Ali in that match. And then, would you believe it, of course, Captain Son, -2 points below average. We all knew it was going to be a pretty difficult game. We knew it was going to be a low average, but to not even make the average, when I went into the games on Sunday with 3 players, was pretty hard to take. And I've made terrible decisions. So I'll just jump into... Well, first, the transfers I made for a -4, I actually did it early because I had a plan. I knew what I wanted to do, and it was Kiko Firmino, you can see coming in, and that allowed me to go from, so that was Willems at Newcastle, who picked up an injury, down to a 4.2 Kiko Firmino, and that allowed me to go to Zaha to Kevin De Bruyne, which is what I wanted. And then, it would have been perfectly fine. And then this would have been Heung-min Son had he not been suspended. Because my argument that I made before the Watford game is Pearson will come in and he'll show up the defence. He's a pretty sound manager in terms of, getting his team organised. Lo and behold, funnily enough, Kiko Firmino did pick up, I think it was 6 points. He did pick up the clean sheet against Manchester United. So that could be an early one that I've jumped on there for 4.2 million. So now I've got 5 rotatable defenders that I'll swap with each other when the fixtures are calling. And then Heung-min Son happened, and I woke up on Monday morning, because it's Sunday in the middle of the night for me, when Spurs got beat by Chelsea. So I woke up Monday morning, I hadn't slept very well, I looked, and I couldn't believe my phone, and I just saw Son sent off, and I thought, oh my God, he's my captain. Well, I don't want to face a price drop. I need a 1-week punt, because my future plan was to get Salah in and have a Mane, Salah, Kevin De Bruyne, Vardy sort of team, which I still will do that, but I was thinking a 1-week punt, and I completely forgot I'd already done a -4 because it was first thing on a Monday morning. So I thought 1-week punt, Jack Grealish. Why do I think Jack Grealish? Because Aston Villa have conceded the most amount of chances. They're not in very good form. Grealish is personally in good form, but Aston Villa aren't, and Norwich are on a bit of a bounce back at the moment. So I took a -4 to take out Son for Grealish instead of just playing Traore. So now I've got to hope that Grealish outscores Traore and sort of at least balances the books there. So I need sort of Grealish to score and Traore to do nothing just to break even. Absolute nightmare decision. We always say don't make transfers or decisions, straight after a game with emotions. Also, don't make them first thing on a Monday morning when you've not had your coffee, because I've given myself a -8 and I really didn't have to. I could have just had 1 week where I had Traore at home to Manchester City. If Grealish pulls it off, this could well and truly turn into a magical move. But next week's plan was going to be Grealish to Mo Salah, and then Abraham down to like a 5.5 forward to rotate with Traore. That's still a plan for now. I'm not particularly sold on Jack Grealish. I don't know why I immediately thought Jack Grealish. I know he's got Norwich and Watford. That was the one that sort of swayed me those 2 games. But I even said in my own head on the Saturday that Watford will look better at the back now with Pearson in charge. So that's not how to do FPL, guys. So we'll just have a quick review. So Everton Arsenal, what an absolute boring game that was. Just a dead rubber. 2 managers didn't want to sort of open up the game a little bit there. It was a shame that Richarlison did start up front, but he got forced out to the wing after Iwobi got injured. Southampton with a huge result, and the biggest knife in the heart for me, I think, this game week wasn't just Heung-min Son, but it was Danny Ings delivering the goods there in that 3-1 win. Grealish getting the goal, but Danny Ings is just punishing us who stuck by Tammy Abraham, and There you go. He's on great form. People might think of not bringing him in now because fixtures are more difficult for Southampton. But, form over fixtures, I would probably say. Bournemouth, I've said this for the last few weeks, turning into the whipping boys. It feels like they've got nothing in attack. All of the defenders are injured. I felt a little bit unlucky in terms of my points. You can see Kelly and Rico both lost their clean sheets in like the last 10 minutes of the game. So these two 6-pointers, which would have given me about 12 or 11 points, turned into 3, which was another unfortunate thing. But Bournemouth not looking like they can get out of a rut at the minute. And I think if they don't make 1 or 2 signings in January, they could find themselves in that relegation fight. Sheffield United doing the business again, this time at Brighton at the Amex. Newcastle 1, Palace 0. Not a game for the neutrals to be shown to fall in love with the game of football. I think we all knew it was going to be low scoring. That's why I originally did have Willems in my starting 11 as well as a Palace defender, because I felt it had 0-0 written all over it. And unfortunately, the one side of that 0-0 where it was 1-0 Newcastle didn't play. He was just surprisingly dropped. It turns out I think he had a knee injury. Unfortunately. So again, that was another situation where he was on instead of Rico, and that's, at least 6 points gone for me there as well. And then Norwich 1, Wolves 2. Wolves looked really poor. Now, for people who are thinking about Kevin De Bruyne as captain but worried because Wolves away from home is a difficult fixture, Wolves were really, really poor in that first half. It could be because they were against Norwich. Maybe they're tired. I'm not too sure. But Norwich should have been going in at half-time about 2 goals up, and they didn't. They scored their chances, and Wolves came back to win that 2-1. City looking pretty good against Leicester. Leicester are really good on that counter-attack. Jamie Vardy again. Another captaincy shout for this game week if you're thinking of Jamie Vardy. Even though he's against Liverpool, I'll talk about more when I recommend the players for this game week, but I think Jamie Vardy is another good shout as well. Watford 2, United 0. So people say that United are like the Robin Hood of football. They take from the big teams and give to the small. And they're doing it again. This is why I just can't really bring myself to sort of spend sort of 9+ million on the likes of Rashford. I think if I was going to go United, it probably would be Martial, maybe Pogba, but just they're so inconsistent. We all know that they'll have one really great game a month, but again, it was not a particularly good game to watch. And then the killer blow of the week, Spurs 0, Chelsea 2. Didn't see this coming. Lampard has outdone the master. And they deserved it. There wasn't any kind of sit back, part the bus, let's hit them on the break and take the win. Chelsea 100% deserved it. And it's just funny that I always, for weeks and weeks, have been calling Willian as one of my differentials, and then bam, he gets a brace in the week where I didn't suggest it. But that's just the way it is. So lining up myself for this game week, you can see I've got 2 teams that I think will be low scoring against each other as well. So that's Watford and Sheffield United are playing each other with Kelly, Pope in goal. I'm going to stick with Pope. People will keep shouting. I was going to go Guaita. I had asked about Guaita, but I always just think with goalkeepers, as long as they're playing, they've always really got a chance. At the moment, Dele Alli is my captain, but I possibly could talk myself out of it because I just don't know what Tottenham is going to turn up. But at home to Brighton, I think Mane, De Bruyne have really difficult fixtures. Obviously, Jimenez, Vardy have very difficult fixtures. I don't want to put it on Tammy Abraham. I think we've all been burnt by that before. And I don't really want to put it on Jack Grealish at home to Norwich. So I feel like Dele Alli with Vardy as vice seems like the right call. But let me know in the comments below what you guys think about that as an idea. Who's your captain for this game week? Again, it's another open game week. Difficult fixtures for some teams. And also, the reason why... and I am going to suggest Kevin De Bruyne, but the reason why I'm worried about Kevin De Bruyne is because he went off with... Turns out it's cramp, but now is the time for rotation, and I'm feeling that Kevin De Bruyne will probably play against Wolves and get dropped for Sheffield United. So I'm hoping that's the case, but I don't want to put the captain's armband on someone who I'm thinking possibly could get dropped. I think Ali's like 99% going to play. I think Kevin De Bruyne is about 70% going to play. So looking at the fixtures for this game week, you can see Spurs, Brighton. Brighton don't travel well away from home. Spurs will want to bounce back from Chelsea. It is the early kickoff. That's something as well that puts me off putting a captaincy on the early kickoff, because if Ali does nothing, I'm sitting here with, say, 2 points or 4 points from my captain in the very first game. The rest of the game week all the way till Saturday is just horrible to watch. But again, it's a difficult call. I'm not gonna not make a decision just because it's the early kickoff. Aston Villa Norwich, again, Norwich I've mentioned earlier on a bounce back. Aston Villa conceding the most chances by a long way. So the worry here is those dead teams that have still got the likes of Cantwell and Pookie in their side could punish us a lot this game week. I'm hoping Jack Grealish is going to deliver in that one. And for Aston Villa, there's no one else except Jack Grealish in that side that'd be touching. Bournemouth, I mentioned earlier, feel like the whipping boys. And Arsenal, Arteta's come in. He's sort of, I'd say go back home. I always sort of relate him to Everton as well as Arsenal, but obviously he was a big part of Arsenal. And I will be talking about a player from Arsenal later on. Chelsea, Southampton, again, Chelsea bounced back, good form. I think they've lost 3 in the last 4 before that Spurs game. Southampton, Danny Ings, are they going to be able to stop Danny Ings? Chelsea do tend to concede, but with Rudiger back in the side, I think they'll be a lot more safe at the back. Palace, West Ham, I'm hoping that's going to be a 0-0, but West Ham have been bouncing back quietly, so I know some people have been looking at Antonio again, but again, I won't be really going close to any West Ham assets, and I'm only going defensive, really, when it comes to Crystal Palace. If you've still got Zaha, I think that's a decent shout, but I won't really be touching any attacking assets in that game. Everton, Burnley. What are we going to see from Ancelotti? Has he had time to put his stamp on it? I'm not too sure. Burnley don't travel well away from home, so I'm sort of looking at Pope, and I'm hoping Everton's going to have one more game where they're not very well. Not doing that well in attack, but that's going to be... I'm not expecting anything from Pope in that game. Sheffield United, Watford, I feel like this has got like 0-0 written all over it. I'm hoping it's got 0-0 written all over it because that'll give both of my defenders... the clean sheet points there. United, Newcastle, is Pogba back? Well, we'll see. But again, he is someone I'm going to talk about in a little while. But I know a lot of United fans as well as FPL managers were hugely disappointed. A lot of people captained the likes of Rashford and had Martial on their side as well. And they got beat by Watford. Leicester, Liverpool, probably game of the weekend in terms of football, not FPL wise. Liverpool, again, I'll be talking about Vardy, but coming back from a long trip, they pushed into added extra time in the semi-final and final. They've travelled a long way. Leicester, pretty refreshed. I know they want to bounce back after that defeat against Manchester City, but can Van Dijk, Van Dijk's got more pace, and Gomez, if Gomez plays, and TAA and Robertson, they're all pretty fast. They might be able to subdue that speed from Jamie Vardy, but that's going to be a really interesting matchup. And then we've got Wolves, Man City. Wolves beat them at the Etihad. Can they beat them at the Molineux? So that's going to be the game that wraps up this game weekend. We'll go straight into a next game week after that. So hopefully I'll be able to get a video out for that one as well. But obviously this time of year is busy for pretty much everyone. And I'm still at work. I don't get Christmas Day off. I don't get Boxing Day off. I don't get the weekend off. I just get January 1st off. That is the only holiday that I get throughout this whole time. So looking back at the picks, of course, Heung-min Son, he's dead to me now. Jimenez, he keeps on ticking. I put that meme up on my Twitter to no one caring about, but it was like, what is it? It's not a lot of work, it's honest work, that meme with the farmer, because he just keeps on ticking along. I've had him, I think, since maybe game week 9, and he's 7-2, 9-9, 7-5, 2-5, 5-7. He just ticks along, and that's why he's going to be my strike partner for Jamie Vardy, despite City and Liverpool in the next 2. After that, Wolves fixtures clean up pretty nicely with Watford, Newcastle and Southampton after that, before facing Liverpool, United and Leicester. So he might go from game week 24, but for now, he's ticking along nicely. I'm not frustrated with him, and I don't really have any ideas or suggestions that I want to replace him with. Richarlison, I mentioned it earlier, he was unlucky. He did start down the middle, but that early injury to Iwobi forced him out to the side. Diego Jota did nothing. Unfortunately, that excited attitude sort of fizzled out in that Norwich game. Grealish, even though Villa got thumped, Grealish got a goal, and that's what matters. And Guaita lost that clean sheet right at the depth. So looking into this game week, so Jamie Vardy, arguably my top pick of the week. Now, Rodgers came out and said that he was going to have to rest Jamie Vardy. Now, I imagine that because of the time he's had off, he will play him against Liverpool because that's a huge game, and then possibly rest him against West Ham. Or maybe Rodgers was just lying and just saying, yeah, keeping other teams on their toes because Jamie Vardy's fine. Or he might play against Liverpool, play against West Ham, and then have a rest against Newcastle. Either way, I think he's going to play against Liverpool. And like I mentioned before, Liverpool have had to play 120 minutes in the semi-final and the final. They were pushed past regular time. Jamie Vardy is a danger to any team, let alone a team that's just had a couple of games that have gone longer than the 90 minutes. And traveling as well. Obviously, they've been out in Doha and they've had to travel back, and they're going to just sort of settle back into Premier League life because City had a very difficult Premier League game against City last week. They're sort of still up for it. I don't want to say that the competition was easier for Liverpool, but you know, because obviously they did win it, which is great, but it wasn't like an easy 3-0, 5-0 victory that they were getting. They sort of pushed pretty hard, but I don't know. I'm just feeling that Jamie Vardy, he loves playing against the big sides. He's in fantastic form. If you're struggling for a captaincy pick and you've not got anyone, you can always just stick on Jamie Vardy. And that goes the same for De Bruyne, who I believe has he's up there in terms of shots and assists, and he's looking so dangerous, especially since the Arsenal game. So I would be surprised if he doesn't at least walk away with an assist. So if you're looking for two captaincy picks that are kind of your safe bet, you're happy with your rank, you want to stay about where you are for Christmas, you want to go with the good old reliable players, and Vardy and De Bruyne are the ones there. But the one here you can see is the outside pick would be Aubameyang. So this is more down to new manager bounce, possibly, but also the fact that Bournemouth have a huge defensive issue in terms of injuries, as well as just very bad form. It feels like they can't grab a goal anywhere, they can't particularly defend very well, and I think Aubameyang, with his pace, similar to sort of Vardy's pace, could take advantage of Bournemouth in that game and at least get a goal. Moving on to differentials, and a lot of people have been talking about if they've got Son, where do they go from here? I know it's been a huge debate covered in countless other podcasts and videos. But just for me, I already have Dele Alli, but I feel as though if you're going to have a short punt, then I think Lucas Moura. I think a lot of people were worried that with the likes of Lamella coming back, that Moura's playing time might get slightly reduced, but with Son out, Moura has surely got to start. And for his price, he's the cheapest one in that Spurs attack. And of course, he's the lowest owned, so he's 7.1 million, only 5.4%. Makes Lucas Moura, I think, a very, very interesting shout, especially because he scored 2 goals in the last 3 games. Arguably, he's probably going to get hooked off. Usually, he gets hooked off between sort of 60 and 75 minutes, but with Son out, he might play longer. And I think for that price and for the team and the fixtures that they've got, if you're on Zaha at about 6.7 million and you can play 0.4 million extra and get the likes of Lucas Moura, then that's a move that I would make in. And I'm back banging the Willian drum after his 16 points against Spurs. Again, I said he was at least rotated in that Chelsea attack. Watch him get dropped in the next game against Southampton. I'm hoping he's not. But not just Southampton, but Arsenal away. We don't know what they're going to be like defensively. Then Brighton, then Burnley and Newcastle. So fixtures for Chelsea is still looking pretty decent. I'm just going to stick on for Abraham, I think, for one more week. And then I'm kind of done for Chelsea for a while. But again, 7 million, 3.3% ownership. And it's the same situation. If you're on the likes of Zaha, you want to jump off and you've got like an extra 0.3 million, I think Willian is a pretty decent shout. And last but probably not least, it's Paul Pogba. 8.4 million now, 3.4% ownership. The thing with the likes of any Manchester United asset, but especially one of the key ones like Paul Pogba, is he just needs to get 1 goal or 1 assist. And you'll probably, and I'm talking value-wise here now, you'll probably make 0.2 million on him in a week. Because United, as much as people love them or hate them, they are so well supported worldwide, and anything that a United player does goes up faster than any other player in, like even with the likes of maybe Liverpool might be rivaling them, but such low ownership. 8.4 million. It was around this time, I think, when Solskjaer came in and he went on that really great run. when he came against Watford, undoubtedly United improved. Even their XG had improved when Paul Pogba came on. He does improve the side. You'd be sort of kidding yourself if that wasn't true. So another option that if you've got Heung-min Son to go down would be to go down to an 8.4 million Paul Pogba, because even if I think he plays 90 minutes, people are going to bring him in because they're going to be thinking, Paul Pogba's back, let's bring him in, let's get on that bandwagon nice and early, let's get that money. So even if you're not too sure where you want to go with Son, you've already got Dele Alli, you're not feeling the likes of Lucas Moura, go down to Paul Pogba, even if it's just for 1 to 2 weeks, purely because you'll probably make a couple of pounds or dollars on Paul Pogba, because once people start seeing him play, 60 minutes and 80 minutes and 90 minutes, people are going to be buying him because it's Paul Pogba. And also Newcastle Burnley, not the easiest games, but also ones that definitely would not put people off from buying him. So they're going to be my suggestions for the upcoming game week. Hopefully you've liked this video or you found it useful or interesting. If you did, maybe leave a like and subscribe if you're new. I'll still be hoping to stream on Friday. I missed last Friday because I went and bought myself a Switch, and I went to watch Star Wars, so I didn't get back in time for a stream, unfortunately. But that should not be the case for this game week, for this Friday, sorry. So I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Have a Merry Christmas for those that you can celebrate it. Unfortunately, I can't, which is never easy, but that's life. But thanks for watching, guys, and as always, have a good one.